Well, hello, Scott.
Hello.
Thanks for joining me again for the Forge.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. Jim wasn't
Thank
able.
you for joining us.
Yeah, right. Unfortunately, Jim was not able to join us this morning, but he'll be back next week. Rumor has it. So it's just you and me.
Oh, that's
I
scary.
know it was nice last week when you and I just didn't want to say anything. We asked Jim, but I don't know. Do you think maybe we'll call on Randy and Randy can come on?
I think not.
He thinks not. So okay, well, then we won't do it that way.
It's hard enough to prepare.
Right. Well, today we're going to look at a different aspect of the tabernacle and the courtyard and everything. We're going to look at the physical design of the tabernacle and how God instructed the Israelites to make various pieces of furniture and all the specific measurements and all those requirements and how it was supposed to be laid out and all of that kind of thing. So, once again, just as a background, Moses is up on Mount Sinai. He's getting all of these instructions while he's up on the mountain. He's going to come down. He's going to tell them all about it. And he's actually going to go back up once again. Then they're going to start building. And so we have two passages of scripture that you can read through this. Exodus 25:10 through 27:21. And we're going to stick to that passage, really. And then Exodus 36:8 through 38:21 is almost identical.
Oh, yeah, we've got the thing where it says, you shall build it like this, and then there's some drama, and then, and we built it like this.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about. We're gonna leave the drama till later.
Yeah.
No drama today. Well, maybe there's a little bit. But before we begin, I'm thinking we still have that video queued up. Do we have that video to watch again, Dan?
We do.
Okay. Let's watch this video. It's just a short video. It gives us a picture of what we're talking about today and how the temple's laid out. So let's watch that.
You want to see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, that's okay. Whatever. No, that's okay. That picture is going to be up. So as we talk about all this various furniture, that's going to be up there. So what we want to do today is we just want to briefly talk about all the furniture. We're not going to belabor all of the furniture. If we were in a Sunday school class, we could do that.
Yeah.
But we don't have the time. So let's talk about
cardboard cutouts.
We could. I was in a Sunday school class one time where the Sunday school teacher actually made a tabernacle.
That's cool.
Which was, it was really cool. So we'll talk about that furniture, and then we're just going to talk about why the significance of it all and what it means to.
Because when you're going through this, like we said, this is one of those parts where you're reading through scripture. I'm going to read through the Bible this year. This is one of those parts where your eyes start to glaze over.
Yes.
And you start thinking, do I really want to do this?
Right.
How committed am I to doing this?
Right. And you say that the first time, and then you get to the next chapters where it's identical, and you think, oh, come on. So I think sometimes when we say, I've read the Bible through in a year, I think, well, I've skimmed the Bible through in a year. But at any rate, so the first plan that God gives for this tabernacle. Now, let's just make a definition or two here. As we talk about tabernacle, right now I'm using the word tabernacle as the courtyard and all the furniture and the holy place and the Holy of Holies. However, it does become clear in chapter 26 of Exodus that the tabernacle is that building itself of the Holy of Holies and the holy place and the Holy of Holies. So we'll try to, yeah. So mostly, a lot of times we say tabernacle and we think of the whole thing. So we'll try to keep that.
Yeah, we'll try to keep that from getting
clear,
too confused.
Yeah. So we have the Ark of the Covenant. Now, the Ark of the Covenant, and up on the screen will be the NLT version. The Ark of the Covenant is found in Exodus 25, verses 10 through 22. And although I'm not going to read it, I'll give just kind of the overview. It is 45 inches long, 27 inches wide, and 27 inches high. So it's acacia wood, which was found in that area, and it's overlaid with gold. Now, just a quick thing about the gold overlay. You were talking about gold leafing and all that kind of thing, which we do today.
Yeah, they probably couldn't get quite down as thin as...
Right. I mean, to do gold leafing and gold overlay, it takes a lot of equipment, specialized equipment. Yeah. And they probably wouldn't have had that in the desert. So tradition says that it's probably some sort of gold plating. Yeah. So it's thin pieces of gold placed on top. So
they've hammered it out thin. Right. They just...
Right.
Yeah, it's...
And the gold, there's gold. The gold rings themselves are pure gold.
Yeah.
They're at the bottom of the Ark of the Covenant, and poles made of acacia wood overlaid with gold are slid into those poles.
Yeah.
What's interesting to me, Scott, is that those poles never came out of the rings.
Yeah.
Because they were never to touch the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah. That was, it's kind of neat that they said those were staying in there all the time. It's like, you didn't want to have to be fiddling around with things.
Right. And because the rings were on the bottom, when they carried it on their shoulders, it meant the Ark of the Covenant was higher than anything else, which to me was kind of interesting as well. That as they were walking along, everybody could see.
It was up above head height.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's going to be from here on up.
Yeah. So they're seeing that Ark of the Covenant in there. They're seeing the pillar of fire and the cloud.
Yeah.
That's emanating from on top of that. So.
Well, you got the ark itself is, basically the wooden box that's covered with gold. So that's going to add some weight to it.
Yeah.
But then the top itself is solid gold.
Yes.
And the cherubim that are on top of that, that's all solid gold.
Yeah.
So you've got pretty hefty.
Very much so.
So those poles, it's not like you can just put a couple people on each pole there.
Right. Well, it's estimated. Interestingly enough, it's estimated that the cover, the atonement cover or the mercy seat that had it was hammered gold, the cherubim were also made of one piece of gold.
Yeah.
And they were hammered out.
Yeah.
And that's estimated to be 750 pounds of gold.
So that's a lot of weight.
That's
I mean, it's not like just a guy in front and a guy in back.
Right.
You got a few people. They're probably swapping out.
I think so too. You've got four guys, 750 pounds on your shoulders. So
they're working.
That's not an easy task. So I think you're right. I think they're swapping out. They took 2-hour shifts or whatever they took. But I was having a conversation with someone the other day about the hammered gold. And it's all of one piece. And normally, when you do something like that, you do the cherubim separately,
Yeah.
and then you attach them onto,
Yeah.
however you attach them. But this was to be one solid piece of gold.
Yeah.
And that is incredibly difficult to do.
Well, I start getting into too where Ed, when Moses is up talking to God, and he says, "I've put my spirit, I filled Bezalel with my spirit."
Right.
For all these talents, to be able to hammer the gold and do all the different things. Then he had Oholiab working with him, and then they kind of showed everybody else. So it's like, okay, I kind of wonder, okay, God showed him what little tricks he was going to need to do.
Right.
And the exact, inspired him to create it a certain way.
Yeah.
Which.
Yeah, and I guess that started my conversation with the person I had as we were talking about this, and just the cherubim and the delicateness of being able to hammer out the wings and get them long enough to touch, and to do that while it's one piece.
Yeah.
Even today, it's just so difficult to do. So
Yeah.
the intricacy and it's just really amazing, the engineering kind of thing and the skill that went into doing it.
Yeah, I mean, even like, I don't know if you saw when King Tut exhibit was floating around, everybody's always amazed at the dagger, because there was this dagger, this gold dagger, this just super intricate. You think, hold on, I thought these people were just a bunch of people hammering rocks.
Right.
And just realizing the talent and skill that was available. Yeah. These people were very talented.
Oh, yeah.
And they could make really detailed stuff.
So the Ark of the Covenant plus the Atonement cover, they're on there. Just let's move on to the table of showbread. So that's Exodus 25, 23 through 30. The table of showbread is 36 inches long. That's 3 feet by 18 by 27 inches high. So again, it's overlaid with gold. It's gold plated. There's 4 gold rings again that carry it, and the rings seem to be attached not quite at the feet, but a little higher up, because there's this lip that goes around it and whatnot. And then there's all the gold plates and dishes and bowls and pitchers and all of that kind of thing. And on that table is the bread of presence. There's 12 loaves, one for each tribe.
Yeah.
So just jump in and make comments when you feel like making comments.
And it's like the bread was there all the time. And as I was poking around, so that was even when they're up and moving the ark and traveling to their next location, there was still bread on the table. It's not like, okay, let's get this all cleaned up so we can move it. Right. No, it was still on the table when they were moving it.
Yeah.
You start thinking of the symbolism of, the 12 tribes in the presence of God. It's like, okay, it's not like they leave God's presence because they're traveling or that.
Right.
So it was kind of neat for me just watching some of that stuff, looking at some of the other boring parts around related to this.
Well, and an interesting thing that you mentioned earlier, that as things were being packed up and whatnot, the ark was covered, the table was covered, all these articles were covered.
So. Well, as I was getting into numbers, they've kind of got the Levites are the ones who get to pack everything up.
Yeah.
And there's like the 3 tribes of Levites, but before they get to go anywhere, Aaron and his sons go in and they take one curtain, cover up the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
And then they put some with leather over the top and get it all ready to go.
Yeah.
And then they've got to cover everything else too. They're the ones who pack it all up.
Yeah.
And the Kohathites, who are the ones who actually carry this, they're not allowed to look at it. They're not allowed to touch it.
Right.
Otherwise they will die, if they even look at the stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, when they're packing the Ark of the Covenant, you've got the heavy weight of the thing, plus it's got a few layers of fabric and leather over the top of it too.
Right.
So that they can't see it. All they've got is the poles.
Right.
And
of course, we have that story in 2 Samuel 6 where they're
Yeah.
bringing the ark back from the Philistines, and they stumble because it's on the cart.
Yeah, it's on a cart.
And the guy reaches out to make sure it doesn't fall, and he dies right away because he
Yeah.
touches the Ark of the Covenant.
So yeah, it's kind of scary. These are the guys who, you guys are going to get to carry this, but don't you look at it.
Right.
Don't you touch it.
Right.
Just make sure, what
Yeah.
kind of job are you giving us?
Right. Right. Most dangerous jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like the one tribe would carry all the fabric and stuff. The first ones would go in. Then the Kohathites carried all these elements that we're talking
Right.
about today.
Yeah.
And then the Merarites,
Yeah.
they get to carry all the framework and poles and bases and stuff afterwards.
It was a huge job. It needed all of those people to pack this thing
Yeah.
up and set it up again. I mean,
Yeah.
this wasn't the tent. When you
It
go
was just your
tenting, you just
backpacking tent.
Right.
You know?
yeah, got a couple of poles and away you go.
Yeah. And like the two tribes that were carrying all the stuff,
Yeah.
the outer stuff,
Yeah.
they had carts and oxen.
Right.
They got
Right.
the Kohathites, they got to carry it by hand.
Right.
Because this is the special stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, this is not just the coverings, this is not just
Right.
the fabrics around. So they get to carry the special stuff.
Right. And the special stuff is the stuff that reflects the character of God.
Yeah.
So you have the table of the showbread, the 12, we talk about that. And it's interesting to me if I can make the connection, and I hope I'm not overstepping this connection, but you can tell me if I am. You have on one side the table of showbread, on the other side you have the candlesticks, and we'll get into that. And Jesus says he's the bread of life and he's the light of the world.
Yeah.
So I think there's I think that's interesting to me. I don't, anyway.
He's reflected in all of the things.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the presence, the bread of presence was kind of that significance of the provision of God. They had the manna every day.
Yeah.
And there's the reminder, the physical reminder of the bread of the presence. I'm always with you, stay with me, and you will be provided for.
Yes. He's always looking over them.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah. So we have the table where the bread is, and then there's the lampstand. The lampstand found in Exodus 25:31 through 40, very, very detailed description of the intricacies of how it's made. Essentially made of pure gold, estimated to be about 75 pounds. So you're not, that's a significant candlestick.
That's
You could do
That's
your
something you walk around and carry to light your way.
right. You do your morning workout with that thing. 7 candles in total, 2 arms of 3, and the middle candle that makes 7. Used for giving light to the holy place. It was in the tabernacle, in the tent itself, and it was to be lit every evening and put out every morning.
Well, just looking at the fabrics on the ark, we talk about like just the layers we get. I don't know if we're getting it.
No, you
But
go ahead.
as we watched the video, there was like the first layer was all the embroidered stuff that was woven with the cherubim pictures inside.
Yeah.
And then your next
Which
layer
they would have
was,
seen that from the inside.
yeah,
right? They
because
would
you've
have
seen
seen all the
the
cherubim.
inside layer, and then you've got your goat hair covering, which is going to be fairly heavy,
Right.
and then you've got your leather over the top for weather protection.
Right.
So when you've got the candles lit up inside, you're going to see the finely woven fabric.
Yes.
That's going to be your walls.
Yeah.
But it's going to be dark in there because you've got all these layers of stuff.
Right. It's like our backpack tent is the first layer, and you put the fly over it or whatever, right? That's your second layer, and then you throw some leather over there, and then some more weatherproofing over that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we get into the tabernacle itself in chapter 26. All of chapter 26 describes the tabernacle proper. In other words, the tent, which the place where God dwells. So you had 2 pieces. Well, not pieces. You had 2 parts of it: the holy place, and then the most holy place.
Yeah.
And in the most holy place, the only thing that's in the most holy place is the Ark of the Covenant and the cherubim. And there's no light in there.
Yeah.
The holy place is where the showbread's on the one side,
Yeah.
the candlelight on the other side. The altar of incense is in there as well.
Yeah. And you've got fabric between you and the most holy.
And there's a big curtain
Yeah.
in front. So let's just take a look at all those pieces. There's 10 curtains of finely woven linen with blue, purple, and scarlet thread embroidered with cherubim. It's 42. Each piece is 42 feet long by 6 feet wide. Is that right? Or the total is 42 by 6 feet wide?
I think each one works.
Yeah, I think
kind of.
that's
You
right.
got to cover the height. And
Yeah, that's right.
Then back down the other side.
So there's 10 curtains of 42 feet long and 6 feet wide. And then there's 11 curtains of goat hair, 45 feet long and 6 feet wide. So that's the goat hair goes over the cherubim cloth. And the goat hair has one more piece because it's got to overlap a little bit, and it kind of sticks out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then there's a protective layer of tanned ram skins, and then there's a protective layer of sea cow skins. Sea cows, by the way, the Hebrew word is refers to something that's an animal that looks like a manatee, and it's found in the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf. A dugong is what they call it. So.
Yeah, and especially you start thinking about, like the ram skin, you can get, fairly nice leather out of that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, for me, all the sea creatures I've seen, they got pretty hefty duty skin.
Yeah, yeah.
When we go down to the sea lion caves or whatever,
Right.
or you see them, in Seattle,
Yeah.
that's some tough skin on those guys.
Yeah.
It's not.
And it's waterproof.
And you know what's waterproof? It's tough. Seal skin's very tough.
Yeah.
It seems like any aquatic creature, they've got really tough skin.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And it would have made it really dark in there.
yeah, it would have been really dark.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it is interesting to me how dark it would have been in there, and they're only lighting the candles in the evening.
Yeah, they're not having flashlights or anything.
Right.
Like that.
Right. Yeah. I suspect the curtain to the entrance of the tabernacle, that entrance was probably open to let some light in so they could see what they were
But
doing.
yeah,
So let's talk about the curtain separating the Holy of Holies, Exodus 26, 31, and 33. A curtain of blue, purple, scarlet yarn, finely twisted linen embroidered with cherubim. So the same kind of curtain that goes on the outside of the whole tent itself. So
maybe a little more colorful. I don't know.
could be, yeah.
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 Plus, at first I was thinking, okay, how are these people making this? But if you look at a loom, I imagine there were people in there that had loom, and a loom is mostly just a frame. It's not a real solid thing.
Right.
You got they could pack a loom fairly well, considering all the other stuff they're packing.
Right.
A loom,
Yeah.
they could fold it down.
Yeah.
So they could be weaving this stuff out of the desert.
Pretty amazing craftsmanship.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to have seen that material.
Yeah.
That would have been
We
pretty
kind of
amazing.
have our little ideas of what it might have been.
Yeah.
But, hey,
Is that, Dan, is that picture of the tabernacle up behind us? Okay.
It is, but let's see.
Just to see the layout a little bit. I don't know if we probably can't see the layout of the
I don't have the
inside. So that's okay. Maybe we'll get that picture.
Picture
for
of
next
the outside.
week. Yeah. So Exodus 27 is the altar of burnt offering. So this is the main altar where all the offerings take place. And it is 7.5 feet wide by 7.5 feet long by 4.5 feet wide or high.
Yeah.
So
It's a big fire pit.
it is a big fire pit. It's overlaid with bronze. It's not gold this time.
Yeah.
It's bronze.
Yeah.
My understanding is bronze has a higher melting.
Yeah. The gold will melt.
Yeah.
The bronze is going to give you the strength.
Right. Right. So it's overlaid with bronze, all the buckets for the ashes and everything, the shovels, the basins, the meat forks, the fire pans are all of bronze. There's a bronze grate on it, bronze rings for carrying the poles. Halfway down the altar is where these bronze rings are.
A couple feet up.
Yeah. And all of it is overlaid with bronze, and they carry this altar. So that's a significant 7.5 feet wide by 7.5 feet wide.
That's
That's pretty big fire pit.
yeah. Plus, as we've been going through this, you keep thinking these poles are, just little poles, but
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're
Oh, yeah, they've
there
got
got to be some pretty hefty poles
Yeah.
going through there.
Yeah, this is heavy stuff. Well, imagine how, you couldn't have thin poles for the Ark of the Covenant.
No,
With
you've got
750
pretty
pounds
thick
of gold on
poles
it.
for that.
Yeah.
This is going to take some big poles.
These are not pole vaulting poles.
No, they're not little pole vaulting. And it's like, it's like, they're probably not quite like power poles, but
Right, right, but there,
They're-
yeah.
got to be some pretty hefty,
Yeah. Oh,
big
yeah.
sticks.
Big sticks. That's right. That's right. And then we have the layout of the courtyard.
Yeah.
Kind of the end of chapter 27. It does, the very end talks a little bit about the oil for the lamps, but we're going to get into the oil for the lamps and whatnot next week more so when we talk about the priests and their job. But the courtyard itself was 150 feet long by 70 feet wide, or 50 yards long by 25 yards.
Yeah.
So you kind of had a bit of a picture of what that was.
Yeah, that's because I was going, it was like, how big is that?
Yeah.
'Cause I'm trying to figure, I like to visualize things and start thinking, okay, a football field, 300 feet,
Yeah.
not counting the end zones. That's weird. We got, it's a little over 50 yards wide. So the whole area of the courtyard all around is about a quarter of a football field.
Right.
You see, you could almost fit 4 of these in a football field. And, so the other thing, it works out to about a quarter of an acre because a football field is just a smidge over an acre.
Okay.
So we're at about a quarter of an acre.
So you were
It's about the size of a residential lot if you got a long rectangular lot.
right, right, yeah. Well, for those who go to our church, the church, if you started on the east side, I guess where the door to the office is,
Yeah.
and you went all the way to where those rocks are outside the church, up the hill kind of
Yeah.
thing, that's about 150 feet.
Yeah.
And then the church itself is a little less than 75 feet wide. The church, from roof line to roof line, is somewhere around 70 feet wide.
Yeah.
So it's bigger than our church.
Yeah. A little bigger.
A little bigger.
And like the tabernacle inside the tent,
Yeah.
it's like 45 by 15. So it's
Right.
about like a single wide mobile home
Mm-hmm.
in there. Just one of the shorter models.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we'll look at like the picture that'll be behind us. It
Right.
looks huge. It looks like it goes on forever, but it's not. It's portable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, and I think, if nothing else, that's some definite foreshadowing that this is not where you guys are going to be forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
That this is set up to move. We've got a promised land that's over that way.
Right.
But in the meantime, we're going to keep this kind of portable.
Yeah.
And, and as big and as heavy as everything is, it's still not overly massive.
Right. Well, and there's thousands of people carrying it and setting it up and whatnot.
Yeah, you've got a whole couple of tribes. We've got a lot of people involved with.
Yeah. Well, and this courtyard is surrounded by curtains.
Yeah.
So, it's like a wall around it.
Yeah.
And on the long side are 20 posts, and on the short side are 10 posts.
Yeah.
So they're strung in between these posts. There's bronze bases on the posts.
Yeah.
And then there's gold or silver rings and
Holding all the things together.
The entrance on the east end has 2 curtains of 22.5 feet long.
Yeah.
And then the gate itself, kind of the entrance itself, is 30 feet long.
Yeah.
And that's embroidered with blue, purple, and scarlet cherubim. So the entrance has the same kind of embroidery as the tabernacle itself.
Yeah.
So again, a lot of detail in this.
Yeah.
In my conversation with the gentleman I was previously mentioned, his comment was how incredibly detailed all of this is.
Yeah.
God just didn't say, "Hey, I want you to build something for me and just kind of make it sort of like this. Here's the general design, you figure it out. Take a look around at what the prevailing designs of temples are and copy that." This was very detailed, down to how many feet, how, the bronze rings, the gold rings, the embroidery. I mean, it was laid out. It was engineered.
Yeah, and it's all the detail and stuff. It's not like, why don't you guys make me an altar?
Right.
Give me design whatever comes to mind.
Yeah.
And is it going to be just a pile of rocks or what?
Right.
Why
so exact? Why these instructions? Why did God demand they do everything according to these instructions? Why is it so exact?
Yeah. Well, for me, I looked at it as the thing that if they said, well, just make me an altar, it's like they've come out of Egypt. Mm-hmm. So they've seen things to Osiris and Ra and all the other gods that the God of Israel has just shown up.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've seen all these different kinds of things. And they'd be inclined to maybe make something like what they've seen before.
Right.
They haven't really had a chance to worship this God.
Yeah.
And, they've seen all these other ones. Well, let's make something like that. That was a really cool altar they had for this guy,
Right.
And then, looking ahead too, God knows what's going to be there in the land of Canaan.
Yeah.
And he says, these guys worship some nasty stuff.
Right.
And he says, no, we're not going to worship any of those things. Yeah. And, he wants to have something very different from what they've left behind and very different from what they're heading into.
Yeah. 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 I mean, God is clearly saying, I'm not like the gods of Egypt. I'm not like the gods you're going to encounter in Canaan. Yeah. I am God.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to copy altars. I don't want you to put all the figures on it and all that kind of thing. I mean, notice this is just the plain altar. Cover it with bronze. Don't put any kind of scroll work or any kind of images on it or anything. The only images in that whole thing is the curtains with the cherubim and the two cherubim on.
Yeah. And those aren't representing God.
Right.
Those are like the servants.
Right. Now, cherubim, the first time cherubim are mentioned in the Bible is in Genesis, after God says you can't stay in the garden anymore, and two cherubim with swords, flaming swords, are guarding the entrances. Yeah. So it's believed that cherubim were a type of guardian angel kind of thing, a guard sort of thing. So, so it really did, as you say, they weren't representing God, but they were clearly some sort of, how do I put it? They were there to show people the holiness of God, the otherness of God.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to keep you from getting too close.
Right, right.
Well, but there was no image of God.
Right, right.
Exactly. So, it's looking ahead at some of the drama.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Right.
When Moses is gone for 40 days and everybody starts putting the peer pressure on Aaron.
Right.
Make us a god.
Right.
And he comes up with the golden calf.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the one that brought you out of Egypt. Like,
right.
Really? A calf?
Yeah. Like, where'd you even get that from?
That's the best you could come up with?
Right.
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 How's about an ox? Something bigger,
right.
Yeah.
But that makes me think of some of the colleges and their mascots. I think, really? You want to be called that? Okay, whatever. You want to be a little more fearsome, I would think. But at any rate.
But, and that was what they came up with, on their own, without God telling them, this is how to do it.
Right. So God clearly wants them to know that they are worshiping Him and Him alone.
Yeah.
Not any other gods. Don't mix it up. Don't mix and match. There is no all religions have some merit to them. It's no.
Well, it's very much like in Romans 1 where it talks about how they worship the creature rather than the creator.
Yes. Right. Right. I think it points to this whole concept of the tabernacle proper with the holy place and the Holy of Holies.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because I think that's really where we need to get to is, why a holy place and why a Holy of Holies?
Yeah.
What is that? What did that tell them?
For me, I look at the thing where you've got like the outer courtyard where the animals are being slaughtered and cut into bits, and you've got blood, you've got guts, you've got flames, you've got all that, and then you've got, that's offering the sacrifices. I mean, it's still within kind of the holy zone,
right?
But it's the messy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the outer court.
Yeah, we're keeping that out there.
Yeah.
And then you've got this area in the holy place where it's like, okay, we're getting into this area that's separate, and we've got light and the showbread. We've got this, we're actually here before God. This God is in here. And,
you're moving more towards the sacred.
Then you start realizing that behind that curtain, is God's presence, and, for me, I was trying to think of, we've got Moses, during the time where they're building all this, Moses has a tent outside the camp that he called the tent of meeting. But once the tabernacle was all built and assembled, then that becomes the tent of meeting where Moses.
Right.
So did Moses get to go all the way into the Holy of Holies to talk to God?
It doesn't seem like it.
You kind of wonder, because he goes and...
at least once the regulations were put in, because we'll see that next with the priests and their duties.
But, maybe he just kind of went into the holy place.
I think he probably went into the
talked
holy
with God.
place.
Yes, but he would come out, his face was glowing and stuff.
Right, but certainly not the Holy of Holies. We don't have that concept today.
No.
And we don't even really seemingly have a concept of what it means for God to be holy and how that should affect us, even as disciples of Christ.
Yeah. Well, and as I mentioned, as part of it is that us living in a fallen world, and we keep thinking, we look in the scripture and, I can't, I've looked on the face of God, I'm going to die, you can't see me and live. We have no idea, because we're rolling around in the dirt all the time, that we don't know what that holiness actually is like. Yeah. We think we know what holiness is like. We think we know what righteousness is.
Yeah.
We think we know what sinlessness might be like.
Right.
But our views of everything are so tainted.
Yeah.
And we look at, all of a sudden we're confronted with this holy God, where He's got His presence in there. The people that are supposed to take care of the stuff aren't allowed to look at anything. Right. They're not allowed to touch the stuff. The only people who really get close is got Moses, Aaron, and his sons, and their job is basically just cover it up, so nobody else.
And only once a year could the high priest go into the Holy of Holies.
Yeah, and that's once a year, and it's like, this is, very special. Right. And that's, I think it's such a foreign concept. I'm kind of looking at from the Jesus movement of the 70s and stuff, where we've gotten used to, I call it my buddy Jesus. Right. Jesus is with me. Jesus is my friend. Jesus is just all right with me. All this stuff where Jesus is very close. We've got this friendship level thing. And there's that tension between, we've got Jesus with us, Jesus our advocate, Jesus who's with us all the time, and the holy God. And it's, for us, our brains have a hard time thinking this is the same person. That's really the mind blower of the whole thing is that we've got this most holy God,
Right. He's no less holy today.
yeah, he's no less holy, and
But we
and
do,
yet he allows us.
well, we do have this concept of the Old Testament, God was scary. In the New Testament, he's my pal.
Yeah,
But he is still God. And he is still holy. And there is still to be the fear of God, right? I mean, I say fear of God, and people say, well, we're not afraid of God. Well, not afraid of punishment, but there still should be some knee knocking
yeah,
in our concept of the way we relate to God, because he is, after all, not like us. He's far and above. He is God.
well, just part of God's nature revealed in his creation is
Yeah.
that people go out into the woods and they think, oh, it's like a Disney movie,
Yeah.
not realizing
Right.
if you go out to the ocean, the next wave coming in, if you're not paying attention, that next wave could kill you.
Right. Right.
And so much stuff in nature can kill you.
Right.
If you're not paying attention,
Yeah.
you could slip, fall, something could fall on you.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous,
Right.
but it's very cool to be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And yet God himself, is very dangerous in that way.
Yeah.
It's, and even when Jesus was in the boat with the disciples and the storm was going, he's, and they're freaking out because there's a storm going and Jesus is sleeping.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And he gets up and says, hey, calm down.
Right.
And the sea, the waves, the wind,
Yeah.
and they're going, whoa,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah.
They kind of freaks them out that they realize that
Right.
they're
Right.
the guy in the boat that they just woke up
Right.
has that kind of control over nature around them.
They had a little bit of knee knocking.
Yeah,
Like, whoa, this isn't just our pal. This is God.
this isn't just a good teacher. This is something more.
And I think we've lost that, or are in danger at least of losing the sense of the holiness of God. We approach Scripture, we approach the words of God as, well, they're pretty good suggestions, but if I decide to take it, I'll decide to take
Yeah.
it. If I decide to disobey, I'll disobey. Big deal. It's not a problem.
Yeah,
And it is a problem.
yeah, and part of the drama section coming up, is this. I know you've come across them. I've come across them. I just worship God my own way.
Right.
I don't go to church. I just worship God my way, which normally what I've seen is people doing. They avoid God at all possible costs.
Right.
That's their way of worshiping.
They're worshiping their own created God.
Yeah,
That's
they're
what
worship.
doing.
It's like, okay, is God cool with the way you're worshiping Him?
Yeah. That's a great
It's-
question. Yeah. Because clearly he was not for the Israelites.
Yeah, I mean, we look at there's some of the drama comes up is people tried doing things their own way,
Right.
and it did not work out well for them.
Right. They changed the formula for the incense. Let's try burning this. I like it better.
Yeah,
And God struck them down.
yeah, and
Yeah. I wish we had more and more time to talk about this topic particularly, because it's important that we understand the holiness of God,
yeah,
that he is God, and that, he has the power of life and death.
yeah, and,
He's coming again, and when Jesus comes again, every knee will bow, every tongue confess that he's Lord. This isn't just, hey, cool, my friend is here. This is, he's my friend who's here, but man, he is God.
yeah.
He is.
I say even the Chronicles of Narnia, they go, they're talking about Aslan. This is he safe? Because he's lying. He says, no, he's not safe, but he's good.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he can still bite your head off,
Right.
but he's good.
Yeah.
And it's that respect, I guess. It's respect, that
That's a good
level of holiness that we're dealing with God. That I said there's that tension we live with of God as our friend, but then that respect, and that honor. It's
That sense of awe that he is still
Yes.
God.
So we live in that tension.
We do, and maybe part of our trouble is we try to get rid of that tension because we don't necessarily want a God to tell us what we do. We just kind of want to do it ourselves and make
Yeah.
up God in our own image.
Yeah.
But we've run out of time.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I know. So so that's it. Let's remember that God is perfect in all of his ways. There's not a thing that is imperfect about God. And I'm thankful that he's a good. His nature is to be good to us. His nature is to love us. Imagine a perfect, powerful, awesome, uncontrollable, untamable God who's not good. We wouldn't be here. We have a good, holy, perfect God. Let's remember that as we live out our week before him. Thanks for joining.